Sustainable plasticware.
The OSI
I'll be back.
that everything in the universe happens according to
I have
the
more
grand
chocolate
plan.
coins to farm for my
But the
great
strangers
tech
that
werewolf.
arrived in
Yeah,
Halcyon
Damon was wanting to get out today too.
From the moment he
Yeah, aren't you
landed in
supposed to
Emerald
text him or
Vale,
something so they
his
could, like,
actions
No,
ultimately
actually,
go on a date or something?
the event
that
in
motherfucker
Colorado
was supposed to
marked
call
the end of
me,
the
I
board's
thought.
authority.
Yeah, that's
But
what he
the
said,
board's
yeah.
mistakes would haunt the colony for decades to
And
come.
he didn't.
The
Well,
damage they
surprise
left
you?
behind
I'll be back.
would require the work
Damon?
of a generation
Reliable?
to repair. Dr. Phineas
Actually,
Wells began reviving
interestingly
a
enough,
handful of the Hope's colonies.
the last 2 times that I told him that he should call me to try to make sure that I was
Scientists,
awake at a decent hour, he did.
They were among the brightest
He gave me
minds
some
the
wake-up
Earth
calls.
had ever sent out into the stars.
I'm gonna have to give him a high five on
The
that
Hope
one.
scientists and
Right?
engineers woke up in a colony descending headlong into total collapse. With no way to return to Earth, they had no choice but to band together
I have to sit through
and
this
devote
20-minute
themselves to the cause of saving
synopsis again.
Halcyon. The people of Halcyon
Are you there already?
were nothing if not
Yeah, I had to
hardened.
save right before.
In the absence of
Nice.
the board's authority, many of the
my
colony
OCD at
settlements
play.
banded together with a single
I got
purpose
you.
in mind: survival. Life was especially hard in the years to come. Some towns dissolved by attrition and starvation, but most of them found
Did
a
you do
way
the,
to carry on.
Shit for
In the
the
years to come, Halcyon was
fucking
forced to reckon with its newfound freedom. The
clothing
board was
stylist,
gone.
whatever her
I was gonna
yeah.
say, you got this, man.
Shut up, it's gonna come out eventually.
Responsible for its own destiny.
No, I've not done that yet.
As the colony struggled to survive,
Damn it.
the inspirational story of the iconoclast
It was a lot longer of a
spread
quest
like
than I thought it was gonna
wildfire.
be.
And Graham was
God.
able to bring many of the smaller Terra 2 townships into the fold.
What's going on, man?
However, his zealous
How's
obsession
work?
with spreading the word
Hello!
blinded him to the needs of a growing organization, and the movement was unsustainable at scale.
Huh.
The iconoclast ways
Yeah, I know. I
were
did see that.
and ultimately petered out on Monarch. Consumed by paranoia, Lilia Hagen took sublight salvage in a controversial direction, openly accusing board officials of an extraterrestrial conspiracy. One day, an accident at the Groundbreaker's docking bay silenced her forever. Time would tell if her replacement could keep the sublight family together.
Steam room.
Adelaide McDevitt replaced Reed Thompson as the leader of Edgewater. She and her followers transformed Edgewater in their image. Anyone loyal to Reed was pressured into leaving town, and those who stayed behind adapted to her way of life. Adelaide transformed the old cannery into a new garden. The nearby
Just to look
Edgewater
at.
Cemetery provided a convenient source of fertilizer. As for Reed Thompson, it was said that he lasted exactly 2 days outside the walls of Edgewater.
Tires? I thought that was
A
fake
marauder was
news.
found in possession of his hat.
Once what?
Under the leadership of
She's
June
complaining about
Lieutenant,
tariffs about
the
shipping over
groundbreaker
some
held firm in the
tampoozles from
corporate
China.
The ship's mechanical stability gave Julie the time to educate a promising generation of engineers, schooled in her
I'm gonna have.
factory
If I'm there, I'm gonna have to do something.
The future of the groundbreaker brought
Okay.
promising. The rediscovery of the
So I
hope
used to
and the abandonment of the lifetime
I was one of those kids that
program
would like
forced Byzantium to come to
in high
terms
school,
with some uncomfortable
funny.
realities.
in high school. I would
Halcyon.
let people know like
While Byzantines were reluctant
if
to
you
surrender
were
the luxuries
just
of
dicking
growing
around in the
custom,
weight room,
the
get the
board's
fuck out of the weight room
diminished
because you're in my way.
authority gave them little choice
I have
in
to.
the matter.
This isn't just like a weight room.
Nearly
Oh, yeah.
everyone had to
This is
learn
like-
to make do
There's a
with less.
fucking pool,
Some
Yeah.
indoor, outdoor.
even had to get jobs.
They've got
It was
a
a
splash
dark
pad
time
fucking
indeed.
thing out there for the kids.
Your
They got a
influence
fucking
shifted
They got a
Ellie's
racquetball
perspective.
center.
She finally admitted, albeit grudgingly,
You know what I've also
that
always
she
been
just
fucking
might
terrible at?
need other
Racquetball?
people.
I
Racquetball.
love it.
Sometimes.
I've been so bad at racquetball.
With a steady income from the life insurance payouts, she was finally able to afford a ship of her own. She hired a small crew and
That all
flew
came
supply
out so-
missions to communities
so
on the
fast.
fringe. Some of them were even legal.
It was
Life in
Diego and Will.
Halcyon was sobering
Diego's taking
for
a
Felix
digestion
Millstone.
nap.
The grand revolution he dreamed
So
of
Will.
never came. There was no great awakening for the colony, no celebrations in the streets. There was only the hard, desperate work
Did you hear that,
of
Will?
trying to repair a
What are they looking
broken
at?
colony. Felix never had a head for numbers,
He's ignoring me.
but if there was labor to be done, he was there to help. Eventually, Felix realized that the work of a revolution was done with two hands. As much as he enjoyed his adventures aboard the Unreliable, the vicar, known as Max, eventually decided that it was time to move
A
on,
bar for
to live
singles
out
to
the
meet
life he had
couples.
sought so long to create. He knew there were many in the colony who carried burdens much
It's called a
worse than the
swingers bar?
ones he had struggled with.
Well,
What's happening?
And he devoted himself to easing their
I don't know.
suffering
He said something about a
wherever
bar
he could.
for singles to
He
meet
only ever
couples.
took
I'm
up
down.
arms again to defend the defenseless,
It's on a show.
I guess it's not fully
unshackled from a
swingers
lifetime of
if it's not two
striving and
couples.
fighting the
Right?
universe and himself.
'Cause that's what I was
Vicar
thought.
Maximilian de Soto was finally at
Sometimes
peace.
It's a
people
cuckold bar?
Once the
Yeah,
matter with the
sometimes
Hope
people just
colonists
like
was
sit in the
resolved,
corner.
Junlei
Right.
bashfully asked
Okay.
Parvati if she'd like to join her permanently on the Groundbreaker. And Parvati, enthusiastically, if somewhat awkwardly, agreed. The stories of her adventures spread across the colony, and Parvati soon found herself the center of attention. Having served as the engineer of a
Were you on a
renowned
work call when you got in here?
tramp freighters and wildcat miners
sounded animated.
sought her out by name.
For
And
me,
in no
Yeah.
time, she was a fixture in the Groundbreaker's mechanical
it was a
ecosystem.
formal.
She
Okay.
and Junlei were never far apart. Nyoka returned to Monarch to take another crack
Okay.
at making a permanent life for herself. She formed the Charon Group, a mercenary outfit of ragtag survivalists and wilderness
What level would
experts.
that be? Like, how many steps
Anyone in
above you
need
is
of a
that?
guide, or just looking to throw back a beer and swap stories, could find
Like,
her
that's not
camping on the
obvious?
trail,
So it's a level
or
6.
clearing an infestation.
Sixes, but
The SAM unit that accompanied you spread awareness of the product line's superior sanitation and maintenance capabilities across what was left of the colony.
my level 6 is in
This
charge
led
of
to a boost in SAM unit sales.
Mm-hmm.
thousands of people.
Did you know that SAM units are the longest-lasting, toughest-acting cleaning solution in
Okay.
Halcyon? Minister Clark was released from house arrest, and his contact with you gave him a sense of renewed purpose and
There
vigor.
are
Once it became clear that no help would be coming from Earth, he threw his considerable efforts and
Okay.
talents into helping Halcyon manage the crisis before it. It was widely suspected that Sophia
What is, like,
Akande
what's the
was
title
the
for
true
that?
power behind
Generally.
Chairman Rockwell.
That is you? Okay.
However, after the riot,
I think you should know how to skate before you try to get into roller derby.
in the colony. Various theories circulated as to her fate. Some believed she boarded an interstellar ship capable of journeying to a distant colony. Others believe she died trying to escape Tartarus. Some few suggest she fled to Monarch,
Okay.
where she continued to live among a small band of loyalists. There is another theory, which suggests that Sophia's encounter with you changed her, and she deliberately retreated from public view,
Okay.
but continued supporting the colony in secret. When Dr. Wells began reviving the
Not
Hope's
equivalent.
colonists, he found himself
Makes
with a
sense.
sudden windfall of additional supplies and resources, courtesy of an anonymous donor. If Wells knew who his supplier was, he never told a soul.
Period.
Chairman Rockwell served as the public face for the changes in Halcyon to come. Whenever you needed strings pulled or a voice to sell a policy change, Rockwell was only too happy to oblige. As for Dr. Phineas Wells, he spent his remaining years in his orbital lab. Though he was always haunted by the failures of his past, he was determined to make things right by building toward the future. Dr. Wells was able to revive many more scientists and engineers.
I think I'm
than he
halfway
first
through this.
expected, thanks to the additional
Okay.
batch of chemicals you stole from the
I don't know if you were
Wells
listening
never
to
forgot about the human
conversation
lives
with
that were
Olaf.
lost in
Kinda.
acquiring these chemicals. The revival project was hard
I guess we're gonna go to
painful
the
work,
gym,
but in the end,
Alrighty.
despite
eating.
limited resources,
and then afterwards,
over half the Hope's
I'm down for
colonists were
Battlefield.
successfully revived.
Okay.
Even after Wells passed away, the Hope scientists and engineers worked night and day to pull Halcyon from the brink of collapse. Their efforts continue to this day, which may be reason enough for optimism. Dr. Wells laid the groundwork for the project to save the colony, but he would never live to see the fruits of his labor. He passed away a few years later. His work was carried on by the scientists and engineers he revived. Life will never be the same in Halcyon. It is widely agreed that the colony has a chance of stabilizing within a generation, owing to the hard work and determination of the surviving colonists. Recovery is a distant goal, and the path is long and uncertain. But the people of Halcyon carry on, determined as ever. And what about you, the unplanned variable in the history of Halcyon? Long after Wells passed away, you carried on his work with more energy, determination, and brilliance than he could ever muster. The years that followed were hard, but Halcyon survived by the efforts of the host's most promising colonists, the greatest of which was you. No one knows what's happened to Earth, and no one knows what the future
How
has
are
in
that many
store
people
for
on the street?
Halcyon. All we know for certain is this: the name of the Unreliable and that of its intrepid captain will remain the subject of countless stories for years to come.